All right, got it.
Randy, how's it going, man?
It's going fantastic. I was just on a call, just took a call for one of my sites that I actually threw a phone number on.
Nice. So you just threw a phone number on, and then the phone rang, and someone wants to do business.
Yeah, yesterday I actually put the number on it. The site's been sitting there for several months. Put the phone number on yesterday, and I got a call yesterday, and I got a call today. So I thought it's probably a good start. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
excellent. We'll count that as a win.
Okay.
All right, cool. Who else has wins?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alfredo, what happened, man?
Yeah, I was kind of like Randy too. I'm working with Edwin on a rank and rent venture with them. We just threw reviews at it, and I started getting phone calls. And I'm so new at this that we didn't want to mess with the GMB right away. So it was my phone number on there, and it came to me, and I took the call. I didn't know what to do. So I booked the appointment. Then I called the guy that was buying the leads. And so that was a learning experience. So I'm learning real quick what not to do.
Yeah, that sounds like my first experience, man. When I started, I built a towing site. It was my first site, and I built it in like the Vegas area. And I built it, I think I think I started building it in May. And then every year in July 4th, I would go to Lake Cumberland with my family, and they got a boat. And then like we go out drinking on the boat and have fun. And I came back and my phone rang, and I answered it, and I heard the thing, like the towing thing. And the person's like, yeah, I'm over here stuck on the 15 and I need a tow truck. And I was like so caught off guard. My response was, yeah, we're really happy you're calling. Get someone out there. Thanks a lot. And I hung up on him. I was like, oh man, I'm glad that's over.
Yeah, I actually
that was my first call ever.
Yeah, same thing. I answered hello, and they're like, yeah, I need some junk removal. I needed yesterday moved, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. So that was funny. But yeah, that was pretty jazz. I'm building up my VA team. Got a couple of invoices paid. A couple of partnerships with other agencies in the works too. That was kind of neat. So a little bit of everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, super excited.
Super cool, man. All right, who else has some wins?
Hey, the new guys kind of got one.
George, you got a win?
So, was doing some Facebook prospecting about 6 months ago. Got hooked up with a guy who does, mold remediation, fire water damage, and he's been really happy. And so he called me up today and he says, "Hey, George, I got this friend of mine. She's got a website, and she's an insurance adjuster, and her website's down. She can't get into it. She's all freaked out about it." I said, "Well, okay, let me take a look at it." So I went in there, was able to get the website back up. Turned out her SSL certificate was expired. And so she says, "Wow, that's awesome." I said, "I got like 5 other businesses I'm in that need new websites. So I think we should have a talk." So deal's not closed, but I don't know, when you pull somebody's bacon out of the fire and hand it to them on a silver platter, I don't know, man. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like from now you just need to like not mess up, right? Which not that you would, but
exactly.
You're kind of in that spot where
yeah. So it's a pretty sweet spot to be in. And then speaking of partnerships that Alfredo brought up, have my VAs doing some prospecting for me on LinkedIn. They reached out to another agency owner, and he actually called me and said, "Hey, I'd like to find out what your agency is about. I run a digital agency, da da da." And he says, the one thing I'm actually having trouble with ranking a pressure washing website. And I said, "Well, let me take a look at it." And so we started talking about what we're doing. And so we're going to end up exchanging services. He's going to manage some Google Ads campaigns for me. And I'm going to show him how to get his pressure washing site back up in the top of the rankings again.
Awesome. Yeah. It sounds like you got a couple of irons in the fire there, huh?
Yeah. Yep. So now all I got to do is turn some of those into that cheddar. We'll be good to go.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome, man. Congrats on those. keep us posted as those unfold. Sounds
Oh,
like
yeah,
an
I will.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yep. And then the other thing, this is not really a win, but it's a little, I just need a small audience to gripe to. I'm getting so sick and tired of Google shutting down Google business profiles because of capitalization. I mean, I had one where they approved it as a brand new one, did the verification, got the postcard. It's cool. I'm starting to work on it. Next thing I know, it's a, what do they call it? Disabled, because I had the word capital F, capital R, capital E in one of my descriptions. And they said, no. And I'm like, seriously, Google, you can't figure out how to parse for all caps in a word before you approve something? So anyway, fooling around with that this afternoon too.
That's frustrating. All right. Who else has some wins this week? Nobody? Are we winless? Are we losers?
No, Spencer's on vacation in San Diego.
Spencer's in San Diego. That's a win. for him.
That's right.
It's a huge win.
Well, I've got a win for you guys. We have the white label stuff is ready for you guys to play with it. So I'm going to start off this call by showing you that. And then we're going to go into the next 10 days. So that's kind of like we had our first 10 days last week. So this is going to be like, we're going to do a quick recap. And then we're going to go into like what the next 10 days looks like. And then we'll have one more series where it's like, here's the final 10 days of the 30 days. We're going to turn this into more of a consolidated lesson at one point. But I know like the calls are 7 days apart. So if you were following along and you took action, then you're not quite ready for the next set anyway. So but it is coming. We will have this one. We'll get this out tonight, and then we'll have the final 10 days. All right. So does anyone have any questions before we get started? All right. I don't know why this trick. There's this like at everyone trick that I've been trying to use in Facebook. If you guys haven't seen that in groups, it's kind of cool because you can notify people in a group. You can do it once a day, but it doesn't seem to be working for me. I'm going to try to get some more people to join us on the call. All right, but let's get into it. Let's talk about the white label and what that is and how it works. Okay, so the link, it's active inside of LeadSnap and lead generated, but the catch is we didn't add a link for it yet. We've had it in there for a while. We just wanted to play with it and test it a bit and then roll it out on one of our calls. So let me share my screen. Let's check this out. Okay, all right. Jeff, you can see my screen? Thumbs up? Cool. All right, so this is the white label settings, and I'll kind of show you how this is going to work. Get this window out of the way before it terrorizes me. Okay, all right, so this will appear inside your settings. Probably tomorrow when you guys log in tomorrow morning, you'll have this option where this will appear inside here, and you'll see that we've added a domain. So this is going to be automatically. It's going to do a lot of stuff, but there's some steps that you're going to have to do on your end. And if you go to our support site, so I'll go in here to the documentation area, and there is a white label document in there that can help you with some of these instructions. All right, so you see white label setup is hiding in here now, and it's going to walk you through step-by-step instructions. So you're going to have to make some changes wherever your DNS records are to be able to set this up. We've tried to detail it. Our support has gone through and they're up to date on how this works to help you guys with any of your issues as we go through this. We're launching this in beta, right? So there is a lot of information, as you can see in here, that will take you through how to set this up. But we're launching this in beta because we've had it for a long time. It's probably been in testing for several months now. I think we started building this like 6 months ago. Okay, so basically you can brand and have your own version of LeadSnap inside your agency, right? And that could be a subdomain of your domain, or it could be your own, like its own domain, right? And you can remove the LeadSnap branding here. You can change the login page. You can kind of see we've got a little demo set up for you guys here. So if I go to this login page, you can see that I've changed the logo here and I've changed the colors, and we've got like a background photo here. So what does this look like? So if you go here, you'll see that this is what we have. So this is the login page based on the settings that we've set up inside here. Okay. So the way inside here. So the way this is going to work is like whatever's in your account is going to appear inside of the white label version. Okay. So whatever leads are in there, those are going to appear in there. Okay. So, and you can use all the same logins that you've used to log into your account. And then if you've got like users that are assigned, then their information, their same stuff will work. I just need to, 1 second here. Okay. Let me bring this back over here for 1 second. Does anybody have any questions about this so far? I'm going to pause the share while I get logged into this thing. Jeff, we got any questions popping off in this?
The domain will be different.
Yeah, you can have your own domain, right? So you can put whatever domain you want in there. So it could be, was that Alfredo that asked that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be like, you could essentially have your clients log in at alfredosdomain.com, or maybe it's Alfredo's agency, right? And they could go to alfredosagency.com and then log in, and then it could have your logo and your branding in here. So this is going to be really powerful for people that are people that are wishing to sell like reputation management, right? So that way you can't get circumvented by the client and have the client come in, try to, purchase their own LeadSnap account because they won't know what it is. So you can kind of see, this is me logged in. All right, so this is me logged into this, and I'll kind of show you how this works. So this is the login page, is that first page that we were on where we're seeing those settings, and this is the system settings. So right now we have the LeadSnap logo there, but I can easily change that. So I can select my own logo. You can kind of see we've got this favicon. So this will give you the ability to change up here in the tab. That will give you the ability to change the favicon icon. So that's that little icon right up here in the browser tab, right? I can change all the colors. So you can see this is the background color of the left navigation. So I'll choose let's choose like this. I'll choose this green color here, and you'll see I'm going to update this. So I'm in LeadSnap right now. If you look at the URL here, I'm in LeadSnap, and if I click on update, and I'll go over to this one, and you can see it's purple right now, right? But I've updated it to green. So all I need to do is if I refresh here, you'll see that it's going to change this over here, right? So you can set up all your branding to be, I've kind of changed it to the same color as the text. And if you look, we've got those options to change all the text settings, the hover text. We've given you guys a ton of options. You even have options to change the buttons, right? So right now we've got this, but you can also go with like an advanced button where you could say, hey, I want my advanced search button to be this, the view button, the edit button, the delete button. You can change all those. So you can change the background, the text, and the icon color that's inside of it. So you can really put your own branding in there a ton. This is the active items here in the text. So if you look here, let's go in here. This is the active item, right? This blue one. So when we look at this setting, and it says like active item is dark blue, right? So if I want to change that, I can click in here just so we kind of understand how this works. I'll make this be this. This is going to be a atrocious color combination, but you guys will get the point and it'll be easy to see it. All right, so I just changed the active item for the active item setting. And you'll see that this blue, when I refresh here, is going to be that pink color that I chose. So super easy for you guys to set this up. So you can go through, you only have to do this once. You go through, this is where you can add your own logo. Let me just see if I can grab a logo off my computer without exposing my whole file system here. Hold on 1 second. Stand by. You guys liking this? Is this cool?
Yeah. Patrick, is each client going to have his own thing, or is it the one?
So the white label will work.
So Alfred,
whatever client just like any client that logs into LeadSnap right now, it's the same for them. It'll be that way. So you can set up your own white label, and then any client that logs into it will see like Alfredo's agency or whatever it is.
And my color scheme and all that.
Your color scheme. Yeah. So it may make sense to brand this to your agency, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's not each client gets his own color scheme and all that.
That's right. It's each. It's almost like you guys have your own version of LeadSnap. You have the ability to make a skin of LeadSnap and brand it to yourself. So that way, so where we're setting this up to is you're going to have the ability, you can start charging your clients for access to the CRM, right? And they can't go to LeadSnap and get the LeadSnap price. So if you're paying for like an account for them, say you have like the pro plan, so you've got 10 companies and it's $970 a company, right? And then you want to charge them $97 a month for access to the CRM, right? They can't go to LeadSnap and get it for $39 a month for the starter plan because they don't know what it is. There's nothing in here that will say LeadSnap, right? So when you're in here and you change all this stuff out, even within even within the automations, right? There's links that go out. Those links will be whatever your link is here. So like if you want to send out a review link, it's going to be this link, right? It doesn't say LeadSnap up here, right? It's this ringmygmbs.com, right? And so any automation that I have set up in here, it will use that link. There's no trace of LeadSnap. And this was a hard update for us to make because there's so many relationships throughout the whole system to balance. But so now we have it, right? And essentially there's no record once you set this up and you dial this in. If I change this logo, if I change the favicon, you can't find LeadSnap in here anywhere, right? Even we removed the copyright down here. It just says all rights reserved, right? So we've gone through and combed through this. So it's almost like you've got your own branded CRM for yourself, your own branded version of the software. And then you can control, this is driving me crazy with this green color. You can control the the users and what they have access to as well. So like you set them up as a user with the user role, you give them permission, you give them access to this, and and now it's in your own branded account. So this is going to be really powerful. I think if you want to sell reputation management and you say like, hey, the price point we want to sell reputation management for is $250 a month, right? Well, if it was done through LeadSnap, you basically need to be providing the service without them ever really knowing that the link that's being sent out to their customers is going to be a LeadSnap link, and that would work probably pretty well. But now you have the possibility to it's Alfredo. Hey, this is my system here, and I sell this reputation for management for $250 a month, and they'll have no way to understand that this is LeadSnap and then go get their own plan, essentially, right?
Couple of questions, Patrick. George is asking if, how it's going to filter everything to the client. So that would just be through the user notifications and how you're allowing them to get into the system, right?
Yeah, so there's a requirement. If we go back here, let me just share my screen again, or I am. You can, okay, there we go. This right here, there's a requirement that you have an email address. So any communication will default to that address. And then the automations you'll set up, like if you're delivering leads, right? That'll go through your phone numbers that are inside your account. If it's a text message, it'll go through your phone number. We require with the white label that you have an email account. So any communications between the system and your client are happening through an email account that you've authenticated or a phone number that you own. Does that make sense, George?
It absolutely does, Patrick. And it also answered the question I was getting ready to ask about phone numbers and the phone system. So, man, you are reading my mind tonight.
All right. All right.
Ooh. Angela's asking, can we see a sample of what the customer will see? I think that's what you were just showing, right? That's what the customer.
Yeah. So
how rebrand.
I really need to just grab a logo real quick. I thought we had one in here. Give me 1 second. So the customer will see whatever you've set up, right? So you have complete control over the styles and stuff that the customer will see. I think the logo maybe is throwing people off here. Let me just take a look and see. Sorry, guys. I thought we had this prepared. Okay. Let me just throw a logo on there. So I'm just going to throw this random logo, upload this real quick, stand by. So we saw the login page, Angela, when we first came in. And like that had no LeadSnap branding on it already, right? The logo, I will add one in here and we'll see what that looks like. So you can essentially add in your own logo, you can add in your own colors, and that's what the customer will see. It's going to really, so each one of your guys' things will be different, right? It's based on whatever you add. Does that make sense, Angela? Jeff, can you curate that conversation?
Sure.
Let me know if that cleared it up.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was Angela was above that. Hector asked that question. My bad.
Hector.
Yeah, actually, that was me. Yeah.
A couple times.
Hector, does that make sense?
Somewhat, but I guess I'm catching up on progress that you guys been doing. So I'm kind of late to the videos. I'm guessing from what I'm seeing.
Yeah. So basically, there is a new feature in there that will allow you to completely customize. God, why is it doing that? It will allow you to completely customize the look and feel. So whatever you customize it to, and then you give your customer access, then that is then that's what they're going to see, right? So it's really up to you how you set that up. So I'm just going to crop this thing out. We'll make that be that. Let me update this, and we'll update, and I'll start sharing my screen again and refresh this. So I'm not sure how good this is going to look, but you can add in whatever logo you want. So I've just uploaded a logo to replace the LeadSnap logo, and you can see this like little logo here. So now there's no like LeadSnap evidence in here, right? So you can kind of see if I go into my account and I go to this page, there's no link for it yet, but like I said, it's going to be inside the settings. You guys could actually type this in and go to it if you want to play with it. You'll have to configure the domain, so it's probably better to follow the support article and do that. But you can kind of see I've added in my own logo. I've got my own colors. So whatever I set up inside of here and these settings is what they're going to see inside when they log in, right? So I can change the colors, I can change the logo, I can do all of that stuff, right? So hopefully that makes sense, Hector. Any other questions, Jeff?
That's it right now.
Okay, cool. All right, let's get into what to do in the next 10 days, right? How do we continue to set up our lead gen sites? So last week, I'm going to do a quick recap. So let me put this thing back into presentation mode.
George is asking pricing strategy. Would you sell the white labeled version as an add-on to reputation management?
You can cut this up a lot of different ways. I think there's going to be a ton of people who are going to sell the CRM system to small and medium-sized businesses. I think that I've had a number of people sign up that are not marketing agencies. I've had a lot of my clients that have seen it that say, hey, this is way better than I'm paying this other company. This is way better. And I'm like, hey, you can use this. So you could sell this as a CRM system for them. You could sell the white label. I mean, the reputation management, I think is there's people running 6-figure businesses and all they do is sell reputation management. And now you've kind of got an easy way to do that, right? You can get your foot in the door with reputation management. And now you've got a system that is going to hide the fact that it's LeadSnap. So you can mark it up without them ever knowing pretty easily, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Presentation. Okay. All right. Let me share some screens. And 2, share. All right. Jeff, you can see this, right? It says your first 10 days. Okay, cool. All right, let's get these stupid Zoom controls out of the way here. Okay, cool. So this is what we did in the first 10 days. We kind of set up our Gmails. One of the first things that we want to do is we're going to age these things. It's going to take us a little while to position them. So it's important that we do that from the beginning. So at the beginning, guys, all this stuff was covered on last week's call. So I'm going to go through this part fast because this is just this is what you missed in the last season or last episode, right? But all this stuff is covered more in depth in the last one. So we've got the due diligence and niche selection on day 2. We're setting up accounts on day 3. So we've got, hosting accounts and all kinds of stuff like that. We've got our website set up, and then we've got kind of like our Google Business Profile or Google My Business Planning. That's happening. Then we're starting to like prepare some of the social media stuff. We're building out the website content on day 7. And then we've got like some optimization that we're doing to the website on day 8. We're starting to build out our backlinks on day 9. And we're going to like push out some directories on day 10. Okay. All right. So now what do we do next? Okay. So day 11, we're going to start to focus on blog content and backlinking. Okay. So we've laid the structure down a little bit. Now we're going to kind of like build on the foundation that we've set up. We've already got a few links, but like once you kind of get the structure in place, a lot of this is going to be like, let's add content, let's add backlinks. We don't have our Google Business Profiles built out yet. Or we don't have them yet. Right? We haven't requested them. We're still in that seasoning. So we're going to be working on the website where we're waiting for those things to season. Okay. So the we're going to make 5 blogs on day 11, right? So the blog topic should be related to your keywords. So at the beginning, when we did our keyword research, we've got a list of things that we really want to target. And now we're going to support the fact that, hey, Google, we're the expert on this. And the way that we can do that is we can create content related to that. So once we connect our Google Business Profile to our website, they've got this like connection, right? And it's saying like, what's your website about? Well, let's tell it what we want to rank for by creating content about that, right? So you can start to look at sub niches. So for instance, if you've built your site on plumbing, then maybe you want to start to like really focus on water heaters, right? And we can go into the sub niches within that. Or maybe we want to go into tankless water heaters and we can become the expert on that. So basically what Google is trying to do is say, hey, who is the most relevant and most important when someone searches in like Dallas, Texas for tankless water heaters? Does it make sense that the site that has reviews that talk about tankless water heaters, pictures of them, and a lot of content, does it make sense that Google would pick those? It does, right? So we're going to stack the deck in our favor by talking about these different things. Article schema. And I want to point out, look, all these topics that we're talking about here, if you don't know what this stuff is, like schema, we have other calls. You can search on our other calls and you can find more in-depth conversation on that stuff, right? Adding links to service pages when this is possible. So we want to link between our site all over the place, right? We're going to connect it. We don't want to go overboard where there's like 50 links on all our pages, but when it makes sense, let's create this kind of spider web connection between the different parts of our site, right? So if I'm on the tankless water heater page and I've got another page that's all about water heaters, the tankless page should link back to the water heater page, right? And if I mention, electric water heaters on this page, maybe there's a pros and cons list between, maybe I've got a link over to the electric water heater page. So I'm building in those connections. Okay, so some good ideas for the blogs is like listing out, making lists of things like, hey, here's the 7 reasons. So you guys have all been subject to these types of articles in the past, right? Like 7 reasons why the tankless water heaters are the best, right? Or 13 reasons why you shouldn't get an electric water heater, whatever it is. So we found that the conversion rate, there's a lot of evidence to support this. When it's a round number, it seems like they were trying to reach that round number. And when it's an odd number, it seems like, well, this is just how many there were. And there's like no fluff here. So there's almost like more validity psychologically, right? Another thing is adding the year to add relevance. And we do this a lot with our page titles. So you could say like, an example would be the top 6 tankless water heater systems, 2022 in parentheses. That could be the title of the page. And now like the parentheses, when it's on a page, it kind of attracts your eye. It's kind of like, it's going to increase your click-through rate, which is a ranking factor. And it also makes it look like, hey, this is more relevant. you could change this when 2023, you could like, hey, let me just update that 2 to a 3. And now this seems like it's still relevant. Maybe you should update more if something's changed, right? Okay. All right. So the next one, we are going to talk about backlinking. So you're going to want to get 5 to 10 high quality backlinks. So you're going to look for these opportunities. A lot of what you guys, and when I'm like looking at when I'm doing research and I find like lead gens in another city, I always go and I look at their links, and I notice that a lot of times their links are like just like directory links. And I'm like, okay, that's not really like that good of a link. I'm not scared to go into that niche because this person has like some directory link that I can get in a few minutes. But we're going to talk about link circles in a minute. But if you can identify these opportunities to get something that's niche relevant, right? So for instance, if I am in this plumbing niche and I can get something from like some other plumbing company or something like this, or if I can get location relevant. So imagine my plumbing site is in Philadelphia. This is why if you join like the Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce or something like that, then you're getting a location relevant one from one that's not easy to get. So you're looking for those types. Those types of links are really going to power up your site. You can purchase these links. I've mentioned a few times in the past, like Legit is a pretty good service to purchase links. And then the link circles, like all of you guys that are in this group, if you're in the same niche, you can make a post in our group that says, hey, I'm starting a link circle. You get 5 people. I'm going to go through those in just a minute. But do follow links. So there's 2 different types of links. There's the no follow and the do follow. The no follow is you saying like, hey, Google, I'm linking to the site, but please don't attribute any like credit towards it. I think it still matters, but you're going to really want to get do follow as opposed to no follow when possible. Homepage links. So if you can get these links off the homepage of another site, that's always great. The .edu and .org domains, like .edus are really hard to get, but if you get creative, there's a lot of ways that you can get these. Like for instance, one of the strategies that we run in the past is like, let's say that we've got like landscaping. We're in the landscaping niche, and we reach out to our local university and we would say, hey, any of your faculty will get a 10% discount if they use our landscaping. They just got to like show that they work for the university. And a lot of times when they do that, you'll get put as a perk on like the .edu website, right? Your website can be listed there at, like as a perks for the people that work there. So like getting creative with some of these ideas, that's just one. There's dozens of those. The .edu links are really hard to get. No one, you have to be a like a real university or school to be able to get that. So Google trusts those because not everyone can get those, right? All right, cool. So let's go on to, we're going to post on social media. So this is, we're going to talk a little bit more about the link circles. So posting on social media. So we're going to create a post on the social media accounts that you've created to kind of like start to prove to Google that the Google Business Profile or Google My Business is a legit entity. So we want to, like we're seasoning the Gmail accounts earlier in the last episode, we're going to start kind of seasoning our social media accounts and preparing them for Google Business Profile. So that way, when Google is deciding, when they're making this decision to like send out this postcard, they'll have more trust that this is actually a real business. So things you can post links to articles that you've posted on your website. So you can like drive people from social media back to your stuff. You can post pictures, like photos of work that's been done or of the crew, and like general business offers and updates and stuff like this, right? So if you've got some kind of special you're running, even if it's like not a huge special, right? You could just talk to your client and be like, hey, can we do this little special to drive some business, right? So we're just trying to create content to validate the existence of this. And then the link circles, right? So what is a link circle? A basic link circle consists of a website having a link to another website. Okay, so what we don't want to do is like, maybe Alfredo's got this like plumbing site and I've got a plumbing site. And I'm like, hey, Alfredo, you send me a link to your site and I'll send one to yours. What Google knows about that. That's like, they used to call it like reciprocal links, and they squashed that a long time ago. But having a link circle, that's where like I link to Jeff links to Alfredo links to Hector links to George, and George links back to me, right? So we're like stretching out the circle to make it look legitimate. And when you do it, when you're all in the same city or when you're all in the same niche, then everyone's site gets powered up. And then like the power that Hector gets later on continues to raise the bar. So this is a really good thing to do, because we can get niche relevant sites. Every time you link out of your site to another site, it kind of like waters down that link power that's going out. So you want to use this with caution. But if you do a few of these, right? Maybe you do one on the home page, you do maybe you do, one on a few more on the service pages. So now you're kind of like getting this power. And but when we try to get a backlink from, one of these like blog sites, the blog site's linking out to like 10,000 other sites, right? So their power is really watered down. But within our own sites, people don't have an opportunity to get a link like that. So these things are much more credible, right? So it's super powerful. It says on here, can be 3 to 5. I think you should really keep it at 5. Like I don't know why we have that on there, but I would say 5 is a good number. You could go up to 6 or 7 too, but 5 is kind of like the standard. Okay, cool. So Jeff, do we have any questions coming in on any of this stuff?
On this, not really. George has the scholarship hack, which I was hoping he would have something even juicier, but this is pretty juicy, is offer a scholarship. There's also a lot of sites that will aggregate that data on scholarships, and it'll just expand, and you can get links from a bunch of different places, not just the EDU site. So for $500, you offer a scholarship you just posture it to somebody that's going to have something to do with your niche. And there's, like I say, a ton of sites. You could get it directly from the university, or you could even offer the same scholarship to people from different universities. As far as I know, maybe George has done it.
Yes, you can. You can do it for multiple universities. And as a smaller bonus, there are like professionals who go out there scouring for scholarships for people. So that generates traffic to your application page. So yeah, you get a generally strong backlink. You can do it to multiple colleges, universities, and you get like a 90 plus DR backlink with traffic.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Great strategy. If you have a little money up front for $500 for the links that you get, I think the value is pretty high there.
Well,
absolutely.
And you can put the award date a year out, so you've got that link live for a year. And if you think it was worth it, you can renew it for another year for the same amount of money.
100%. Yeah, thanks for chiming in on that, George.
Very cool. All right, we got to keep moving here. We got a number of more slides to go through. All right, so these are a couple examples of what a post could look like. It's like we have Mr. Luke Carter, our buddy, showing up there. But link circle roofing, so you can see like a minimum DR. So that is coming from like Ahrefs. That's an Ahrefs score, which is a piece of software that analyzes backlinks. So a lot of times people will set like, hey, you got to have this minimum. Usually the bar set pretty low. So, and this is in roofing, right? You set a timeline, and then you set up the structure of like how this is going to go, right? So you comment below. Usually you break this off into a little group chat on your own, and you work all that stuff out. So you're not kind of like blowing up the group with back and forth that's only related to 5 people. So that's just like a basic of this. I would recommend that you guys do this. This is a great way to power up your domains and get niche relevant links, which are huge. Okay. Also, like when you're thinking about the relevance and power of a link, let's say that we've got like georgesroofing.com and we've got patricksroofing.com, and I'm trying to rank for roofing. Well, roofing, like the domain name is a hard thing to fake, right? So there's value put on having the keyword in the domain name from the link that's linking to you, right? So when you do these link circles, because a lot of us are choosing to have our domain name with the keyword in it, there's like this other benefit, like of like this is a really, really strong link to get from each other, right? Okay, cool. All right, so Power Page, we'll talk about this, creation and outreach. So what a Power Page is. Okay, Power Page is essentially a long blog post that is very informative. So this, you're going to spend more time on this page. The idea is to create this like amazing, super valuable, high content page, right? You guys have been to these where they're like taking you through different steps. They've got infographics. It's just like this is exactly the information that I'm looking for. So here's what you do is you look, you can go to, like, if you're using Ahrefs, SEMrush, Majestic, one of these tools, you want to find like some of the best ranking content that exists for something that's being referenced by maybe by a site that's really just trying to provide value to the readers. They're not really necessarily in this SEO game. Maybe if we're in roofing, they are just they're like an educational site on roofing, right? And they're trying to help the readers, so they link to another site. So here's what you want to do. The site that they're linking to, you find that information and you build your power page on that, but you make yours superior to theirs. So you make yours a lot better than theirs is, right? You cover this better. You have better information, infographics, you make it clearer. And then you reach out to these sites that are linking to this and say, hey, I see that you really care about your readers and you want to give them the best information possible. We have a page that I think maybe is more appropriate for your readers. I see you're linking to X. Here's my link on Y. And you provide them this link. And through this, you can get them to give you these backlinks. But you've got this backlink, this page is built on a lead gen site. It's not built on this like super national, like informational Wikipedia type site, but we build out a page that has like the best content on this topic. So we can go and we can create real, that's how backlinks were meant to work from the beginning, is like they're linking because the information is great on that page, right? So as you can see, determine what is valuable. You're going to research it on Google, find the topics that are, like, I would say, like it says, do your research about the topics that are most commonly searched. I would find the ones that maybe other people are linking to this like piece of content because it's good content, and then make something that's way better. Maybe you even have a little video on there that explains something. It's just like amazing content on this topic, right? And then you reach out to these people that are covering it for informational purposes, and you ask them like, hey, I think your readers would appreciate this. You can get some really, really strong backlinks this way. There is like the outreach is real on this, right? You're not counting on people just finding it, although that will happen after some time usually. But the key is the outreach. So you're going to have to like send out emails. You're going to find out who is running these, who's writing these articles, and contact them, and then have like a human conversation and get them to the quality of the content will convince them that they should be doing it, right? So that is the power page strategy, and it's a great way to get some strong links. All right, so we're going to talk about speed optimization in YouTube on day 14. Okay, so there are a number of tools out there that can help you with your speed. There's GT Metrics, there's Google Page Insights. So those are 2 free sites. Basically, you go to one of those, you put in your URL, it does its thing for a minute, and it will tell you what the speed is. Okay, so this says optimize the scores are below B or 80%. And our agency, that number is an A or 90%, but obviously an 80% is a lot better than a 40%. So maybe like if you don't have an expert developer on your team, this will probably apply more to people that are using WordPress, because a lot of those other sites, like they're going to handle some of this stuff for you. Not all of it though. Like if you're uploading like photos that are huge, like you can shrink the quality and improve those, right? So if you're have written any kind of like custom CSS and stuff like this, then like there's strategies in there where you can condense that and make it smaller to have the page load faster. But if you are on WordPress, you will certainly have the opportunity to improve this stuff, and you need to pay attention to it. No, Google's not going to be happy to like show your page when it takes 15 seconds to load. Like some of the things that they're paying attention to is bounce rate. Bounce rate is when someone comes to your site and then they just leave. They just bounce, right? They're out. What you want is you want someone to come to your site, spend some time. They call that dwell time. So you want that dwell time to be high. And then they want you to go to another page within your site. So you need to have engaging content. And if your page is taking forever to load, you guys probably do this every day, multiple times a day, where you try to go to a site for something, it's taking too long. You're like, I don't want to wait on that back. Like, so you got to have a fast page speed. Google takes that into account in a lot of different ways. Not only is it influencing those other things that it takes into account, but they're also like directly considering page speed. So we want to optimize that. If you're using WordPress, You can hire people. We mentioned in the last call, you can use onlinejobs.ph to find some really talented developers that can crush it with this stuff. There's some plugins that you can install in WordPress, such as WP Rocket and NitroPack. Those are two that can help you speed up your site. Okay, cool. So YouTube videos. So we want to create these YouTube videos. I think you should have already created these, but if you haven't, then you're going to create the accounts and you're going to use, we've already kind of planned out our Google business profile, right? So we're going to use that name when we create our channel, right? So, and then we're going to make a couple videos. You don't have to be like an expert videographer for this. You can probably hire someone on Fiverr, or you can just like quickly make one with, put some music on there, throw some text on there. You can have some sound, talk about something important, right? The idea is not to trick Google, right? The idea is like, if we can just like create valuable content and then present that to Google, and we're like having enough signals that are all in agreement. And this is one of those opportunities. So you see, put the NAP into the title, okay, in the description. So the NAP is the name, address, and phone number. So now that you've got your address, right, we know where we're going to be sending this stuff, or I think we should have it soon. We're going to put that information as a part of the video title, right? So this is going to be a strong citation, right? So, and we can also use that in the description. We can put some links in there to our social sites. We can embed this on our website. We can put it on a location page. We can put it on a home page, that video that we created, right? So we're going to kind of drive a little bit of traffic to it as people come to our site. They'll have the ability to see this. So you don't want this to be like some stupid janky video, because it's going to be on your page. Like, have some real content on there and talk about why you're valuable. If you have a client, you could ask them like, hey, can you give me a 30-second video on why someone should choose you? That would be a great way to do it, right? Okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna go for the address search now. All right, so we're gonna there's a lot of different ways that you can get these addresses. We've talked about this on dozens of videos in the past. It's Craigslist if you're in the United States. There's other sites outside of the United States that are similar to Craigslist, but you can make a posting, right? If you're using Craigslist, similar to the other stuff, it's a good idea to kind of season the account a little bit, right? So you want to make some maybe like normal posts before you try to like go and make this post, or your Craigslist account could be suspended. So you can make some community posts in the free area, right? You could put stuff up on and make a post, and then if you don't need that, then you could say like, sorry, I've already found someone. But you want to show some activity on there. You don't want like, okay, I have no history with Craigslist. I'm creating this, and now I want to make this kind of like shady post, right? Where it's like trying to get an ad, so just season it up, build it up, make it look real, right? So you can make job posts in there. So you could say, I want it like a social media person. If you're in like Los Angeles, or maybe New York City, Chicago, Boston, in a like really like populated area, the posts are going to be more expensive. It might be $15, but I think most of them are going to be around the United States are going to be like $7. Some like more rural areas, you'll find it for like $3. So you make a post. One post can get you 6 or 7 addresses though. And maybe you're going to have to send out 6 or 7 addresses to get like 1 or 2 postcards, right? Facebook, you join Facebook groups. If you got friends and family, that's another way. There's buy-sell groups in Facebook and in other places. There's also the marketplace. So you're basically just, how can you locate someone local to the city? So you need to start these posts. You need to get them out there, because we need addresses if we're going to get these Google business profiles, right? So the timing of this, the reason we're doing it at this time is now things have seasoned enough. So like we've had this like cake cooking in the oven since day one. We're about ready to pull it out, and we want to try to time it. So like as we get the addresses, we pull it out, and then we're ready to go. Okay. So that's been a big part of like how we plan things out for you guys. So neighborhood pages, we're back into content. So like if I am like looking around in a city, right? So I'm just going to, just give me 1 second here. I'm going to bring over a map here, and let's just kind of like dive into what a neighborhood page could look like. Give me 1 second. Any questions while I bring this up? Okay. Hopefully this will let me Okay, cool. So if I am in Phoenix and I'm trying to find a neighborhood, right? So a neighborhood is not like Mesa, right? That's a city. But if I go in and I keep going, and I'm going to say like, maybe Reed Park is the neighborhood. So these ones that are bigger as we zoom in, like Google has decided that those are like, you know, better areas. You can also do a search for like, you know, best neighborhoods in Mesa, right? Best neighborhoods. Type. So I can go through here and I can find out the wealthy areas. And that is what I want to write my neighborhood page about, right? So I've instructed you guys to choose niches that have a higher ticket price. And you need to align that with the demographics so that you'll have the ability to like you don't want to be selling swimming pools in like inner city Detroit, right? No one's going to buy that, right? But if we go and we're trying to sell swimming pools in like the nicest parts of like Phoenix, that's like a warm climate where there's a lot of money, right? People have a lot of land. Then like you need to line that up. So if you've chosen niches that are more expensive, we need to find more affluent neighborhoods that are going to be able to afford this stuff. So basically you have these like service pages. We're going to say 7 pages to start with. So you're going to choose the 7 best neighborhoods, 500 words minimum. You're going to talk about the area. So we'll talk about the location. We can talk about the demographics, like, hey, maybe the average age, like stuff like this. We're just giving city information. So when Google is trying to choose, like, let's pretend that Reed Park is this like good neighborhood over there. I don't know if it is or not, but we'll say like, we've got information about Reed Park on our website. And then someone does a search for our domain name or like for like one of the words in our domain, and all of our content for the most part is about it. And then we've also got this page that talks about the city that it's in. Google is going to favor us with the rankings for not only our website, but also our Google business profile, right? So we want to look like stack the deck for ourselves by covering these things. So we don't need to do this part so much on that page, right? We've got a lot of other stuff on the website that is talking about it. We can mention that, but more of this page is more just about that area, right? Why is this area important, right? How old is it? Has anything happened? Maybe there's someone famous from that area, right? So you're going to link these page to link individual pages to their respective bios on the neighborhoods page. So you've got a neighborhoods page that has like a little blurb about all these areas. And then there's a link on there that goes to the actual neighborhood page that has the 500 plus words on it, where we're going to expand on that subject, right? So we're building this kind of like, we've got one page that talks about all of them, and then each of them kind of spider out to these other ones, right? So that's a neighborhood page. It's a really good way, especially as you're running your heat maps and you start to see where you're weak and where you're strong. Well, like neighborhood pages is a way that you can change some of those scores on your heat map over, right? So, okay, cool. Let me, I have messed up my thing here. All right, cool. Let's go on to an example here. So you can see that this is around like Las Vegas, I think. So you can see like this area here, we've got blurbs, and this is going to go to talk about this whole page. That's its own page. And then this is a separate page, right? You can list off the zip codes as well. So you could say, hey, this neighborhood is made up of these zip codes. So we're building more kind of geographical relevance between the location we want to rank in, our website, and the website that's connected to the Google business profile, right? So this is a really good tactic. We do this on all of our sites. All right, so we're going to talk backlinking again. So day 17, we're moving back into backlinking. So the copycat method is basically, you can use, this is where you might need a backlinking tool to do this part, but you want to look at the top ranking sites that are in your area, and hopefully that bar is not set super high. Find out where they got links from, and then you can go and try to get links from the same ones. If they've got bad backlinks, then don't do that. But if they've got a couple good ones, and you can look at your competition, you can also look at the competitors that are maybe in another city. What are their backlinks? So maybe I'm trying to rank this like landscaping site in Mesa, Arizona, but I can go and look and see like who are the best people in LA? Like what links do they have? Can I get any of those links? Does it make sense? So it's an idea. It's a way to get an idea. And it's like, it's already been proven that those people provide links because they're linking to that other site, right? So Ahrefs, like I said, that's a great way to do this. you can reach out to the site and admin. Like if you find these top ranking sites and they're in another market, you could always ask them like, hey, we're in this other city. Would you mind like mentioning us? We're just trying to get our name out there. We're not competing against each other. Sometimes you'll get lucky with that. You can look for forums and directories. Again, I think that it's low hanging fruit to get that, but they're not like the most valuable links. It's like forums and directories, but you should get some of those. You don't want to have just perfect links and that's all, right? Like you want it to look organic. Okay, cool. So we're going to talk about our Google Business Profile posts and Google questions. Okay, so we're going to come up. So we don't even have ours, but we want to be able to like, when we get these, we want to be able to run with it as soon as we can, right? So we're going to come up with like 10 to 15 different post topics. So the topics are going to be things related to our keywords. They're also going to be geographically, where do we want to target those? So 150 words that focus on that, right? You can, if you got multiple Google Business Profiles, then you're going to need more of these, right? But you want to have this laid out. So when you get them, then you can kind of like fire these things off. You're also going to need images. You're not going to want stock photos. So that could mean that you are like running around your town, taking pictures with your phone, or if you've got a client or you know someone that's in the industry, get some of their pictures. We want real photos for this, right? And if you're like in Vegas and it's all deserty around you, then maybe you don't choose like Florida where it's all like green, because that's not going to look authentic for the area, right? So you like preferably get one that's in the area that you're working in, right? You can, if you've got people from like Craigslist that are giving you these posts, maybe you can have some of these guys take a couple pictures for you too and send those over, right? You want to get organized with this stuff, and then once you have them, you have your Google Business Profile live. You can schedule these things out. This is going to be an important ranking factor. It's going to drive some traffic to your Google Business Profile, right? Okay, cool. So questions. So Google Business Profile, there's an opportunity for questions. So you can come up with some of these questions. Some of these Craigslist people or these local people can be the ones that are asking this. So they could say like, hey, do you like, maybe I want to rank for like stump grinding, right? So do you provide stump grinding in Mesa? And then I could, as the business owner, I could respond with, yes, we've done stump grinding. We've done tree removal. We've covered the Mesa area, the Chandler. We've done several houses over near Reed Park, right? So I'm going to kind of set things up and then I'm going to respond to it, right? And I'm going to be basically building more relevance between those keywords and the locations that I want to target, right? So I want to have this stuff all prepped. So that way I don't want to be sitting there and not knowing what to do, right? I'm going to be like, I've got everything set up. When I get it, then I can be like cooking with grease, or what do they say? I don't know, cooking with fire, whatever it is. So you can hire people like we talked about Craigslist, right? So that's a way you can do that. Okay, cool. All right, let's talk about replying to the contacts. So now we've made these posts. We've got them sitting there for a couple days. Now we're starting to get some replies. So we want to be replying really quickly, right? So wait for replies back to your script. So you've got something that put out there, you've run your script, they're going to reply. If they agree, you can explain it. I think some people will want to jump on a call with you. Get that opportunity to take it. I would take it every time. Just let them know like, hey, this is what it will look like for me. It's like Google favors, like we're working with this business. We're trying to set up some locations. We have a really good client. It's been really hard for us to get locations because they're a landscaping company. You don't necessarily have an office. And we just need someone to send a postcard to. It's nothing illegal. Just kind of explaining that and letting them know that it's like a real human that is like, that can go a long way. Because right now you just have this kind of strange looking post that says you're willing to pay them to receive mail, right? And they're like, what is that? I want money, but I don't know if I can trust this. They're going to mail a bomb to my house, or you're going to come and kill me. So if you can just like have this conversation, explain why this is necessary, that'll go a long way with trust. Once you've got trust, like your chance of converting them and actually getting that postcard from them goes through the roof, right? So collect their contact and payment information and prep that up for the Google My Business or the Google Business Profile location. The way that we pay people, we pay people on Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, stuff like this. Yeah, so any of those will work. All right, so so this is a strategy that we use in our agency to really kind of understand how we want to surround the area and where these addresses are. So basically, you're going to take all this contact information and you're going to look at these addresses like, let's say I've got like 3 addresses that come back, and the one that I want to link to my homepage, I'm going to choose the one that looks the best. And that's going to be the one that I'm going to go with my main keyword on, right? So if I am, maybe I've built out like all this like keyword research and I'm trying to rank for like tankless water heaters. And the term I've said is best is like tankless water heater replacement, right? So I'm going to try to work that into the GMB that is like maybe in the most central location in the town or the best location, right? So I'm going to plan that out based on the addresses that are coming in. So I'm kind of strategizing on which ones to target there. Okay, you want to be like really, you want to have great communication with these contacts when you're going back and forth with these people. And then when the stuff starts to come in, we can like they won't have forgot about it. But here's an example of the map, right? So we do this for all of our websites. We set up this My Maps. It's really handy. You can kind of see that over here, we've got some like different cities that we want to target, right? And we've got like, we color code it. So we say like, okay, green is our live locations. We've got pending locations. And then if one gets suspended. So this is the area that we want to target. It really helps us. This is the actual address. So it really helps us know where we need to maybe have another Google business profile. Like if I really want to rank down here in the South, and this is my distribution, right? This blue one, maybe this blue one is like, that's been sent. But like, we're hoping that goes live, but if it doesn't, then I'm definitely going to need one. If this is my main, because maybe I need to get another down here ready, right? So this is a really good way for you to kind of like organize and strategize with your Google business stuff. Like what are the locations and where do you need to hit? All right, cool. So let's go on and talk about sending these out. All right. So this is day 20. So now we finally had enough seasoning so that we can send all this stuff out. Right. So let's go in here. And now we've got the address as well, because we've heard back. We know we're going to be sending this stuff. So before we send it out, we need to go and we need to add the address on a couple of different places. So we talked earlier on the call about how we want to really we want our story to be credible, right? So to make our story credible, we need to be adding that address. So I want a Yelp page that has that address, and I want my Facebook and Twitter and maybe Yellow Pages, some of these other spots that say this. So that way, when Google is like, is this a real business? And then they're like, oh, okay, well, like look at all these other locations, like look at all this stuff around the internet that says that they're real at that address. So when they're deciding whether they want to send out that postcard, they're deciding whether they want to make that thing live or suspend it, they're going to consider that, right? So you want to also make sure that this stuff is built out. These social signals not only will help with this, but they'll also help with the ranking of your Google business profile. So you're going to do this stuff anyways, right? So build out the entire Google business profile as best as possible. Once you've done that, you can send out the postcard and notify the contact that this thing's coming, expected in. Used to be like, 3 to 7 days. I would probably say it's probably more like 7 to 12 now. It's taking a little bit longer. Okay, cool. So that is the next 10 days. I am going to stop sharing. Do we have questions?
Right on. Anybody have any questions about the next 10 days? We have a couple of questions about the white labeling, but if anybody has questions about the days 11 to 20, that'd be great. Anybody going once?
Oh, okay, cool.
All right.
Must have done
So a couple questions about the white labeling. One, how will support work in the chat window widget? Is LeadSnap going to be the support when people are on the system or in the
system? So right now, no, the support is going to be done through you guys, right? So I don't quite have that figured out yet. Like I said, we're releasing this in beta and we're going to find out where you guys shoot holes in it. Maybe that's going to be one of them. That's one I thought a lot about. There's not a easy, clean solution for that. So for now, the chat is turned off in the white label. And then you guys can have, like, I guess you'll be upcharging and you'll have to earn your money a little bit you can go back and forth with our support and deliver it to them. We could potentially step in there and try to help in a non-branded way when possible. But right now the chat stuff's turned off in the white label.
Cool. And then one more question that was sort of related to that is, will the video training and documentation still be branded LeadSnap? So I
That
guess
stuff is also turned off in the white label too.
okay.
Yeah. What I see Thomas saying, if you send a heat map to a prospect, will it show my site? Yeah, it will. So once you turn that white label on, there's no more links that are like LeadSnap links. They're all going to be on your domain links.
Yeah, gotcha.
Reputation management funnel, any of the like lead detail links, the heat map link, anything. There's no link that will come from LeadSnap anymore.
Cool. That's all the questions I see.
Okay, cool.
Here's one. Eli is asking, where are you creating a neighborhood page? Is this listed on your money site or another platform?
Your money site. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're gonna have like, you can have like maybe you have a service areas page where it talks about the different, like, so maybe on the service areas, it's gonna be like more high level where it's gonna say, okay, Phoenix, Mesa, Chandler, right? Stuff like that. You'll also have, like, if you go into one of these pages, we can mention the neighborhoods that we're serving, and then you can click on that and go to like an individual neighborhood page, right?
Yep. Cool. That's all I'm seeing, Patrick.
Okay, cool. I know that was a lot of information, and I was trying to respect my time, I guess, and get through this stuff. But I'll tell you what, each and every one of you guys has the ability to play this video back at your own speed, take notes, and go through it. But you know, it's
Last question. Sorry to interrupt you on your exit, but Marcos just asked best tips for keeping sites and logins organized.
Best what for keeping sites?
Tips.
Logins?
Tips.
I really like there's a lot of password managers out there. I think it's really good to use those, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to have like password that's like Randy123 and then like that's my password, right? Instead, you want one of those like 25 character passwords with all that stuff. And then I always turn on two-step authentication for everything. And so like LastPass is a good one, but if you use LastPass, make sure that you have like two-step authentication on for that. So you don't want to give anyone easy access to that, right? So you need to take advantage of that technology that's out there. I wouldn't store it in like a spreadsheet or something like that. Like put it in LastPass or put it in something that's like encrypted.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So I think that's it. Sorry for some of our tech issues here. You can kind of, I'm visiting my dad in Canada. This is what Canada looks like, right? On this little international trip. So working out of his office, he's at the age where they still keep house phones and they have these type of clocks that go off every 15 minutes. So sorry about that. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys get some value from this. Let's spend the next 7 days creating some wins, right? We didn't have as many wins. I know that there's like people on vacation that are normally on this call, but let's create wins. So a win is let's move our business forward. Let's take action during the next 7 days. That's going to put us in a better position for the following week. We don't do that, we're going to be in the same spot next week, right? And if we continue that, then you're not going to be where you want, right? We're going to be a result. We're going to be an average of the actions that we've taken. So we need to do those. Let's take some massive action this week and create some big wins for next week. Okay, you guys have an amazing week, and we'll see you guys in the group. Okay, take care, my friends.
Take it easy. Please.